Okay. Well, gosh, Mitzi, thank you so much for being our moderator slash tech slash fabulous coach. We really appreciate it. So tonight we have two special things going on. We have Zia's on, and she's going to give us a little testimonial on how she's doing on program and just a little update on how things are going. And then we have Melinda Kochman, who's going to be presenting in one of in our little Optavia world. She does this video that I think has gone viral. We use it all the time because it's so helpful to clients no matter what stage of program you're in. So I thought, why not ask her to come on and do it live, right? So she's here tonight to do that. And then we'll have it on our YouTube channel so that when you have clients, or if you are a client and you want to watch it again, or if you're a coach and you want to send it to a client, it'll all be in on the YouTube channel. Thanks to Mitzi, who developed our YouTube channel. So let's start with Z. Could you unmute yourself and just give us a little of your story?
All right, I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm not sure what I got. Okay, great. My name is Zaina Poxus. I'm a dental hygienist from Rochester, New York. I met Jennifer a while ago. We were just talking about that. It's been a while, maybe 9 years. I thought it was 5, but time's passing too quickly. My main goal in the beginning was to obviously maintain my weight and lose some weight. Have 3 kids, so you know how that goes. And with everything else, I was able to lose so many pounds, and I kept it off for so many years. You come off the wagon, you go back on the wagon, and what I realized that worked for me is this program is the only thing that truly worked for me, because I'm a regimented person. I like structure, and that kind of helped me stay on task. And every time I felt like, okay, Zainab, you're off the wagon again, I felt like I need to go back. And at the time, Medifast, now Optavia, is the only thing that worked for my body and for my routines every single day. With last year, with the pandemic, all of our lives have changed. And when this hit and we were home for 2.5 months, I had severe anxiety. I never had anxiety issues before. And with that came eating the things that are not good for me or for my family. Obviously, I've gained some weight back, being home, not having the normalization in my life. And once I came back to workforce in June, I was just, I like the new normal that everyone's talking about. I like the fact that, we were back to our routines again. I was able to have breakfast again at a normal time, lunch at a normal time, but still, once you have that weight, once you have certain routines down, it's kind of hard to give up on them. At the end of the year, I think it was like December 31st or December 29th, when I reached out to Jennifer again. And I said, I want to do this again. But this time, I feel that I gave up on the bad stuff before even my stuff came in. I think my stuff came in on January 11th, and I had already given up on chips and cookies and things that we all enjoy. I thought I enjoyed. As soon as my things came in, I felt good. And in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, I felt that I was feeling energetic. I was feeling that that it's okay to make a change. You're not really missing the sugar anymore. You're not really missing the carbohydrates anymore. And there's so much food out there. And I feel like this time around, I don't know if it's the sport that I'm getting from Jen. I feel that I can do this as a lifestyle change, not something that I give up on for 2-3 months. And I feel that everything that I'm eating I know that it's good for me, and all the foods that I'm making, my poor husband has to try. But he seems to enjoy it, and the girls are seeming to enjoy it. Like the taco bowl that everybody talks about, I never knew that existed. It's the big hit in our house. So I'm just happy to be making the change. I started 180 pounds January 1st. When I started the program on the 11th, I was down to 174, just giving up on the bad habits that I had. And now, what, a month and a half into it, I'm down to 161. But I always tell Jennifer, it's not about the numbers right now for me. I'm seeing this as more of a lifestyle change. And I just feel good. I feel good. I feel energized. Like I said, I have 3 children, and I just hope that I can keep up with this. And I'm hoping with the support that I have from all of you and all the Facebook pages and all the Pinterest things that we have, I just hope that I can keep it as a lifestyle change and actually have my daughters follow up on that healthy change. But that's pretty much about me. I don't know if that's good, Jennifer.
That was so perfect. And I think the one thing that I really got from your testimonial too is like being ready. You were
Yes,
really ready to make the change, which was really big. And then, of course, you had the
yes,
benefits and you recognize the benefits, the energy, and all those other things. So
absolutely.
I just feel for you. You're really on it and I love it. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I think I said this to you before. This time around, this is my, I think, 3rd time doing this, the past 9 years. And I feel like this time I'm more educated about it. I'm
yeah.
not afraid of it. And I know that the changes that I'm making are good. And like I said, I feel good. I feel like I'm healthy. It's not about the pounds anymore. It's all about just how I feel. And I know that I'm doing what's good for my body, and
Yeah.
it just feels right.
Well, I love it. And thank you so much for sharing. And I'm so glad that you were able to come on tonight because I just love your enthusiasm and your positivity and where
Thank
everything is
you.
going for you. So
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, now we're going to move on to our presentation by Melinda. So Melinda, if you unmute, which you did, and take it away.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm really excited to be here tonight. I'm in Ken's seat with I have the fancy lights. I'm like, ooh, no wonder he looks so good all the time on Zoom. I'm always just upstairs on my computer. I don't have the special lighting. But I'm excited to be here with you guys tonight. Thank you, Jennifer, for asking me. I love this topic because it's a really important topic. And I think a lot of people struggle with it unknowingly, which makes it even more important because I want you to realize that maybe you're inadvertently doing something or not doing something that you should be doing, which is preventing you from getting the results that you want. And so what we're going to talk about is the 5-in-1 and the 5-in-1-ish. And I have a lot of notes, so forgive me. I'm going to be looking at them. I've done this talk before, but I was telling everybody in the beginning, I think I got mom brain. I think that's a real thing. So I'm noticing that I'm forgetful, or maybe I'm just getting old, as Mitzi wanted to point out to me earlier. But so like I said, what I want to talk about is the 5-in-1 and are you doing the 5-in-1? Are you really doing the 5-in-1? Or are you kind of tweaking it and modifying it? I like to think of it like following a recipe. And a recipe has a specific set of ingredients and specific steps that you have to follow, right? And you need to follow the recipe to get the specific result that you want. And so what I want to do with you guys is go over what exactly the 5-in-1 is and have you realize that anything outside of that is not the 5-in-1. And so if you feel like the program has really never worked for you, or maybe it was working and it kind of stopped working, the reality is that you're probably not doing the 5-in-1 if that's the case. And how am I able to say that with such confidence? because I've coached a lot of people, and a lot of coaches on here have coached a lot more people than me. And we know that if you follow the 5 and 1, it works. And so if it's not working for you, again, you may not be doing the 5 and 1. And so I would love for you guys to maybe grab a pen and a piece of paper so that if you want to write anything down that I share with you, you have it ready. And the first thing, oh, I love everybody's grabbing their pen and paper. The first thing I want to ask really quickly is, what plan are you doing? And think about why you're doing it. So we have a lot of different plans. We have the 5 and 1, we have the 4 and 2, we have our nursing moms program. So everything I'm going to talk about applies to any of our plans, but obviously most people are doing the 5 and 1. And so I'm going to kind of focus on that. And the next questions I'm going to ask you, I want you to really think about them, because if you don't know the answer to these next questions, then it's hard for your coach to coach you to that future place where you want to be. And it's really, really important to know your why. And I know we talk about this all the time, and I know that you've heard it before. But what happens is when you don't know your why, if you're not clear on what you want, then you end up getting further and further away from it, further and further away from what you want, which leads to losing motivation, right? I mean, we've all been there. And then that leads to being stuck. And stuck means you might not be where you were, but you're also not where you want to be, right? So that's being stuck. It's kind of like a limbo phase. And stuck is like icky, right? Like nobody wants to be stuck. Is anybody stuck on program, or you've been stuck before, been stuck in something, right? We've all been there. And so what I want to do tonight is have you think about what it is that you want from this moment forward. Forget about the past, forget about everything that you've been doing so far. Just focus on right now, moving forward. And if you want, you don't have to do this, but if you want, write down what you want and really think about it. So maybe you want to, write down that this is like a little homework, right? Go back and think about after the call what it is that you really want. And I'm going to challenge you not to skip this step. Because if you don't know your why, then it doesn't matter what program you're following, right? Any old way will do, like Alice in Wonderland, right? Everybody knows that little saying, but they leave out the part where she follows up and says, well, but I want to get somewhere. And the cat says, well, if you keep something like, if you keep walking, then you eventually you will, certainly. Well, how long do you want to be walking on this journey, right? Don't you want to get where you want to go? And so the next question is, are you getting the results that you originally wanted when you signed up for the program? Or have you changed what you said that you wanted because you're not getting those results? Because that's what people tend to do if they're not getting the results that they want, is they try to convince themselves that maybe it isn't what they really wanted, or they sort of change their goal because, well, maybe I'm not meant to be there. I hear that one a lot, right? Or my body doesn't want to be at that place, or whatever it might be. Because remember, when that first phone call with your coach, we didn't tell you where you should be or where you ought to be or any of that. You told us where you wanted to be. And so, this isn't about, being judgmental or being yourself up. It's just about being honest with yourself and what you want and where you're at. And so the next question is, are you following the plan that you chose? Like, are you really, really following it? Do you even know what the 5 and 1 really is? Or are you sort of winging it or tweaking it? Did you read the guide that came with your program? The little spiral bound book that's like 20 pages is the 5-in-1 part, with lots of pictures and big words that will take 15 minutes to read. Did you actually read it? Or are you adding a little bit of this and a little bit of that to your recipe? Because here's the thing that I know. Modified program equals modified results. Specific program equals specific results. That's it. There's no gray area. It's as simple as that. And so here's the really big question. Are you willing to do what it takes to get the results that you want? Only you can answer that question. Your coach can't answer it for you. Your friends can't answer it for you. Your spouse can't answer it for you. Only you know if you're willing to do what it takes. And if what you want hasn't changed from when you first came on board, and if you still want it, are you willing to do the work? And, you know, by the way, there's always going to be a cost, right, to getting what we want. And you have to decide if that cost is worth it to you. For some people, it might not be. You can't go online to Amazon and order optimal health. They don't deliver it in 2 days with free shipping, right? It just doesn't happen. You have to work for it. And so is the cost of earning it worth it to you? It doesn't mean that it won't be a struggle. It doesn't mean that it might not be hard work, but it will be worth it. For me, the answer is yes, 100% it was worth it. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. And think about this. If you want a body that says yes to you when you ask it questions like, can I go for a walk? Can I go for a hike, a swim? I want to go skiing with my friends. I want to swing on the swing with my kids. If you want the answer to be yes, then you have to do the work. If you want to feel confident when you look in the mirror, you have to do the work. And so let's go to our recipe for the 5-in-1 and see who's following it. And so just be honest with yourself with these questions. I'm going to go through them kind of quickly. They're yes or no questions. Again, there's no gray area. Like Judge Judy says, it's yes or no. I love that, Joe. So the first question, are you eating 6 times a day? It's yes or no. I mean, it's really simple, right? 6 times a day, yes or no. Are you eating every 2 to 3 hours? Yes or no? Not every 5 hours, not 3 hours and then 5 hours because I forgot. If you forgot, set an alarm. It's easy, 2 to 3 hours. Are you eating within an hour of waking up in the morning? 1 hour, yes or no? Of the 6 times that you're eating, 5 of them are fueling and 1 is a lean and green. 5 and 1, yes or no? And what I love about the fuelings is that it's really difficult to mess it up, right? Some of them have a little bit of instruction on the back, a couple steps to follow, but basically you just open them and eat it. It's really hard to mess it up. And so the next part is the lean and green. And this can be a little tricky because this one we're like more responsible for, right? But let me ask you this. How can you possibly know what 6 ounces of chicken looks like if you don't have a food scale? I mean, is anybody that good that they can just know what 6 ounces looks like? I can't. So you need a food scale, or that can come on Amazon Prime in 2 days, free shipping. Target has them too. So this means measure all the time when you're home. Don't get lazy about it. Don't measure for a couple of days and think you got it. Because when you're not home and you're at a restaurant, if we can ever go to restaurants again, or you're at somebody's house, you want to know what 6 ounces of chicken might look like. Did you know that at a restaurant, the average serving size of chicken on a salad, when you get a salad with chicken on, is 3 ounces? So do you order 2 servings? You say, I need 2 servings of chicken. Did you even know that? So you won't know it unless you know what 6 ounces of chicken looks like. Okay, veggies. Who does not measure their vegetables? I see hands. Okay. It's 3 half-cup servings. So who thinks you can eat as much salad as you want because it's only salad and there's like no calories and no fat and it's mostly made up of water. So how bad can it be? It's just salad. I'm going to eat salad. It's not a big deal. I see people laughing. So I know that there's people out there that do this, right? It's 3 cups of salad. That's the rule. Who's eating carrots and corn because they're veggies, and how bad could they be? Or who's sitting here saying, are we not allowed to have carrots and corn? It's in the guide. There's a whole section of vegetables, including carrots and corn, that you're not allowed to have. I think it's at the bottom of page 20. So read the guide if you haven't read it. If you're eating a huge salad, you're not doing the 5-in-1. If you're eating just a few carrots, you're not doing a 5-in-1. If you're eating bites of food off somebody else's plate because it's just a bite, you're not doing the 5-in-1. Are you eating your healthy fat? This is the last part of the lean and green. Healthy fat is not optional fat on the program. So if you're not eating your healthy fat, you're not doing the 5-in-1. Again, this is all in the guide, all the parameters for your healthy fat. Condiments. Are you counting your condiments? Who knows how many condiments you can have a day? You want to put it in the chat? 3. All right, I see 3s. Okay, good. It's 3. So what's a condiment? Do you put a Splenda or an artificial sweetener or something in your coffee in the morning? That's a condiment. Do you have a tablespoon of mustard? That's a condiment. It's 3 condiments a day. So if you're having more than 3 condiments a day, you're not doing the 5-in-1. Optional snacks. Are you sticking to the optional maximum 1 snack a day? And I really stress the optional because your mind might tell you that you need that optional snack, but you probably don't, but that's an aside. You are allowed to have it. So 10 almonds is an optional snack, right? Not 11 almonds, not 15 almonds, not 10 almonds in the morning and 10 almonds in the afternoon. 10 almonds is an optional snack. And it says to limit the nuts to a couple of times a week too. So if you're having 10 almonds a day, you're not doing the 5-in-1. Are you drinking at least 64 ounces of water a day? At least. If you're not doing the 5-in-1. It's part of the recipe. Are you getting 7 hours of sleep a night? I see a lot of this. Okay, so work on it. It's element 19 in the life book. You really want to work on that sleep. It's part of the 5-in-1. Are you moving? Are you getting some activity? Are you getting too little or too much activity? So who's on here saying, wait, you can get too much activity? I didn't know you can get too much activity. Yes, you can get too much activity on the 5-in-1. So how do you know if you suspect you might be getting too much activity? Just call your coach and ask them, and they will tell you if you're getting too much activity for the 5 and 1. We love phone calls. Okay. The last one is stress. Now, I know nobody on here probably has any stress ever, but just in case, think of it this way. We cannot control what's going on, right? We can't control the stress in our lives. Like, things are going to happen. It's always going to happen. But what you can control is your reaction to things, right? And how you process it. And so element 23 is a great element in the life book to help with stress. Some breathing exercises. I threw this in just for you, Jen. Deep breaths, 4 deep breaths in and out. It changes your brain chemistry, right? So that is just a little review of what the 5 and 1 is. And so let's now go back to my earlier question. Are you following the plan that you originally chose? If you're really honest with yourself, have you really been following the 5 and 1? Or have you been following the 5 and 1-ish? Okay. I think I just want to skip over a couple of things here. You know, I want to make sure that I'm clear that this isn't about beating yourself up, and it isn't about, you know, maybe you didn't even know it was inadvertent. So just be honest with yourself and move forward. And so if you're not getting the results that you want, the first place to look is probably in the mirror. And I hate it when people say that to me, and I know it's icky, but it's icky because it's probably true, right? And that's why I hate it too. And so if you want something that you never have had, you have to do something that you have never done. And so I have 2 things of homework, and we're almost done. The first homework is back to your why, figure out what you want and why. And your why should be something that pulls you to it. And eventually what happens is it will start to pull harder than the pain that's keeping you stuck. And that might be the pain of being uncomfortable, or the pain of being unhappy, or the pain of not being able to play with your kids or your grandkids, or shame, or worry about health issues that you have, whatever it might be. That why is going to pull you further and further away from that pain. When you know your why, you can endure any how. It just won't matter. And the second part of your homework, and this one I'm really going to encourage you all to do, and I know not everyone is going to do it. It's just the way it is. I can only encourage you to not be one of the people that doesn't do it. But if you're honest with what's going on and you're ready to do this, then I want you to pick up the phone and text your coach and say, I'm ready to discuss my plan when works for you. I'll say it one more time. I'm ready to discuss my plan when works for you. Utilize the most powerful tool that you have, your coach. That is what we're here for. And in preparation for that call, once you've sent the text, review the guide. And if you don't have it, ask your coach and they can send you a PDF so that you can review it. And so finally, again, I'm going to say it again. If you just realized that you were not doing the 5 and 1, knowingly or unknowingly, do not beat yourself up about it. Just move forward. be excited for everything that I just shared with you, because the good news is now you know why you've been stuck. Because again, I know with 100% certainty, and I have 100% confidence in saying that if you follow the 5 and 1, it can't not work. That's all I got.
Well, that was amazing. I'm going to have to call my coach now.
Thank
No, that
you.
was really great. You know, I just love the clarity, you know, and I love, just giving those steps for sure is really just like spot on. So Melinda, thank you so much for being with us. We loved
You're
it.
welcome.
And we'll also give you the YouTube link to post to your page as well, your support page. So thanks so much, everybody, for being here. Mitzi is putting the link to our Habits of Health call, which is going on right now. So if you want to hop over to that, you can. And thanks, everybody, for being here. We'll see you next week.